Good morning. And good morning to your viewers.
Why is Cosatu so adamant in boycotting this match between Bafana Bafana and Swaziland?
Because Swaziland is a dictatorship, basically, and we've been campaigning for democracy and freedom in that country, together with the majority of the people of Swaziland, for many years now, so there's nothing new about this. And one of the policies which we've adopted is to respond to the call for a cultural boycott, similar to the one which was launched against apartheid South Africa, with very considerable success. We think that Swaziland has many of the same features. Political parties are banned, trade unions are severely restricted, there's no freedom of speech, and the country is basically ruled by a small, incredibly rich royal elite, while the vast majority of the people live in desperate poverty. It's one of the poorest countries in Africa, and we've responded to the call from the democratic opposition forces, particularly Pudemo, to organize a boycott, and it's already had considerable support from musicians, from artists, from actors, not just from South Africa, but from around the world. And in our view, sport is very much part of culture. And we think that the Bafana Bafana stars are just as much entertainers as the singers and others. And so we should make a gesture of support to the people of Swaziland by calling off this match and not giving the regime the opportunity, which undoubtedly they will seize, to claim that it's an endorsement of their policies and a rejection of the cultural boycott.
Have you engaged the South African Football Association on this matter, and what has been their reaction to your request or demand?
We haven't engaged yet. We hope they've said they're open to talks, and we will, I hope, take them up on that. We haven't convinced them yet, but we still have a week, and we hope that we can persuade them that democracy in our neighbouring country is more important than a friendly match, and that in the long run it will be to the benefit of all of us if we can have a democratic Swaziland as our neighbour instead of the monarchist dictatorship we have at present.
But now, going forward, seeing now that this game is likely going to happen with this demand that you've put forward, because it looks like everything is set to happen. Should this match not happen, what purpose is it going to serve, or what weight is this going to contribute in your ongoing fight against the Swaziland monarchy? I
think it will be a tremendous boost to the campaign if such an important event is called off and it's made clear to the rulers of Swaziland and indeed to the rest of the world what we think of their regime. Equally, we think if it goes ahead, it will be a big setback because, as I say, it will be promoted in the state-controlled media as recognition of King Mswati's legitimacy and a rejection of the claims by the democratic majority that this is a dictatorship which should be opposed by the rest of the world. But having said that, many will argue the fact that Bafana Bafana hasn't been performing well, and seeing that in 2014 we'll be hosting the Chan competition in the country. This is part of the preparations for that. What's your view on that? I'm not an expert on soccer, but I wouldn't have thought that Swaziland were the kind of opponents which would really test Bafana Bafana's skills. I'm sure there are many, many other countries in the world we could be playing against without compromising the preparations for that important tournament. Now that, let's say for instance, this match do happen, what's going to be the relationship like between Cosatu and SAFA going forward? I'm sure we will maintain a comradely relationship with SAFA. Obviously we don't disagree on other fundamental issues, but we hope we will have made the point, and that even if we can't convince them to scrap this match, they will agree not to engage in any future matches with this regime so long as the present regime remains in power. Should the match go ahead, what's the plan for Cosatu? What is it that you're planning to do? It's very much up to the people of Swaziland. It's not for us to say. If they decide to organize any kind of demonstration, we will obviously fully support them in that. And possibly we will think about having some kind of demonstration at the borders, which we've done many times before as a way of visibly showing our opposition to the regime.
Cosatu spokesperson Patrick Craven, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Now up next, it's Phil Hawkins with your weather update.